Okay, one of the things I want to do is I want to change or refactor operator, my stream insertion, stream extraction operators, and my print and enter methods. And I want to do this because the code in print and the insertion operator are identical. The code in the extraction operator and enter are identical. And generally it's bad practice to have the same code in two different places or in multiple places. And what I want to try to do is change things around so the code is just in the print method, and then I'm going to have the insertion operator call print. I'm going to have the code in enter, and I'm going to make the extraction operator call enter. So here's how I'm going to do that. First thing I'm going to do is, instead of having no parameters to my print and enter methods, I'm going to pass in an output stream and an input stream. And moreover, I'm going to use a default argument. So I'm going to get rid of that, and I want to pass in an O stream. I should get rid of all that. I want to pass in an O stream to print, and I'm going to use the default argument of cout. And what this is going to do is, if a programmer calls print with no parameter, that's going to default to cout. But when I change my insertion operator, that will let me pass this stream into print, and print will use that instead of cout. I'm going to do something similar here with enter. I'm going to pass in an I stream called in, and I'm going to use the default argument of cin. And so again, when I change my extraction operator, I'll be able to pass in this stream to enter, and enter will use that stream. However, if a programmer calls enter with no parameter, then it will default to the console input stream. So those are the changes I have to make to my class definition. So now, in terms of the implementations of the methods, I've got to add this parameter here. So iStream in. And remember that in C++, you do not write the default argument in the implementation. It only appears in the definition. And here I'm going to write OStream out and const. First thing I have to do is I have to change the implementation so that it uses the parameter in instead of the object cin. So I can do that by erasing that C. That's the only place that I'm actually referring to cin. And now here in my extraction operator, I just need to call the enter method on this time object and pass in the input stream. Just like that. The other thing I want to do here is, something could actually go wrong on one of these reads. So if I read new hours and it's a character, then that's going to throw this input stream into a fail state. So I want to add another condition right here to make sure that as long as this evaluates to true, then I know that my input stream is in a good state. So that's another little addition to this, and this will help us do better error checking. Now I need to change my print method to use this output stream instead of cout. So everywhere I use cout, I'm going to erase the C so that I'm referring to out instead of cout. Whoops. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to erase this indel. Now that's going to require someone using print to then follow, assuming they want to do this. I guess you could debate whether the indel should be here or not, because I'm actually, every time someone calls print, it prints an indel. Maybe they don't want me to do that. Sometimes you'll, and this is true in Java, you know, what we could do is we could implement a time print, and we could implement a time print ln, which gives us the new line. And that would give us a printed time, and then with the additional new line at the end. And of course, you know, print ln would call print. Excuse me. So in this case, print ln would call print. So now I need to change the implementation of my insertion operator, and just like I did over here, I've got my time object. I'm going to call the print method, and I'll pass in the output stream here. So that's a better implementation, just because, you know, now if I need to change the format, or if I want to, you know, write or print or read things in a different way, I just have to make the change here. I don't have to make the change in two different places.